Alright, what is good, ladies and gentlemen? It is me, the Master Reviewer, back once again with another review, and today we are doing a review for the movie BlackBerry. This is a movie that came out in 2023. It is a movie that I was not aware of prior to seeing it on Netflix. Lately, I've just been scrolling Netflix and just seeing what movies look interesting and have been watching them. And so now we're doing a review for the movie BlackBerry. So with that said, let's begin, starting off with the characters. So you have the main star really is, I would say, Glenn Howerton. He plays Jim Balsillie. In the movie, they make a joke about how it sounds like his name is Jim Balsillie, but yeah, his name is Jim Balsillie. And Glenn Howerton is honestly, this has been one of the best performances I've seen in a very long time. Glenn Howerton, he's a really good actor. He's obviously in Always Sunny in Philadelphia as Dennis, and he does a great job there. And Glenn Howerton, he just does this wonderful job of just playing these unhinged characters, specifically with Dennis and Always Sunny. And this movie especially, like, he has these moments where he actually just like lets loose all his rage and anger, and it's wonderful to see. Like he's best performance in the whole movie, I would say, and honestly one of the best performances I've seen in a very long time. Other than that, you have Mike Lazaridis, who is played by Jay Baruchel, who I watched halfway through the movie. I realized that this is the voice actor of Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon, so that was a nice surprise. He was also he did good. He played, it's interesting, his character, he starts out like very timid and shy and like meek, and he doesn't stand up for himself, and then throughout the movie progresses, he becomes like very much, he basically turns into Jim, and he kind of becomes more so like Jim, like when there are moments towards the end where Jim seems like he's kind of intimidated by Mike, so I think that was a great character progression. Who else? Yeah, the only other really big main character was Doug. He was in this also as like this best friend basically of Mike, and then he's the only one that throughout the movie, like as BlackBerry becomes this bigger company, he still like holds his like values and ideals. He's not selling out really. He still enjoys the movie nights. He still acts like the same person he was from the start, and he's the only one that doesn't really change, which in this case is a good thing. So yeah, those are like really the three main actors. There's other characters like Charles Purdy and Paul Stanos and stuff like that, but none of them are really as important as those three main characters. So yeah, there are some side characters, and they play their roles fine. They're kind of forgettable though, and you don't really think too much of them. But the three main characters I thought were very good, very great, and I would give, in terms of characters, I would give a 8 out of 10. I would say. Again, the three main characters just do a fantastic job, I would say, and the side characters, they serve their roles well. Moving on to the plot, this is a biopic, so it is a movie that obviously it is about actual events that happened in history. In this case, it is about the rise and fall of the BlackBerry phone, and it was interesting. I did not know when I go into these biopics, I usually have no knowledge prior to the story, and so I was interested. It's always nice to watch these kind of movies similar to like Air, which came out in like 2022, of like the underdog story of like this small startup company, and they end up becoming like really big. So yeah, it's cool to watch those kind of films, and in this one particularly, it was cool to see like also the downfall and how like they're doing incredibly well, but then all of a sudden it falls flat ultimately when they go up against Apple. And also another thing, I forgot to mention this about Jim's character. It's great that he plays this like unhinged CEO, and his character is basically like, okay, I don't know how I'm gonna get this done, but I'm just gonna BS my way through it. I'm gonna just shout at these people, tell them what I want to happen, and then like I'm just gonna do that until eventually it works out. And I thought that was very, very, very great character quality that he had. So yeah. So yeah, the plot, I would give probably a 7.5 out of 10. It was very good, I would say. In terms of the biopics I've seen, biopics are actually one of my favorite types of movies. I love The Big Short, Oppenheimer, War Dogs, what else? The Wolf of Wall Street. I think Goodfellas was actually a biopic, which because I'm pretty sure it is based on real events, although I'm not sure if being based on real events qualifies it as a biopic. But yeah, Just biopics in general, I like them a lot. I would actually say though, in terms of biopics, like this is probably on the lower end of the of like where I would rank. Like in terms of biopics, this is not one of my favorites. Like I think in terms of a biopic, what really makes it successful is just the source material that it draws from. So something like I don't know, like basically the story that it's based off of has to be interesting in order for the biopic to be good. So something like The Wolf of Wall Street, that's inherently like, I would say, a more interesting, like the real events that happened were more interesting rather than compared to like the rise and fall of the BlackBerry phone. So, but no, this was still it was an interesting story, and I was very invested the entire way through. So 7.5. In terms of the setting, I'm just gonna give it a 5 out of 10. There's nothing good, but there's nothing bad. Like it's just standard like buildings and stuff, offices and stuff. There's nothing to really say about the setting. So yeah, just 5 out of 10. In terms of the drama, I will give an 8.5. I thought the drama was amazing. It was very like captivating. I was at many moments I was like wondering like, wow, what's gonna happen? Like the scene where they're pitching the prototype BlackBerry to the service provider. All the scenes with like just Jim's character, just Jim shouting and stuff. It's like very dramatic and stuff, and it was, the drama was great. I loved it. It was very I just was very hooked, and I wanted to see what was happening next. In terms of the apparently one of the genres of this was a comedy. It didn't really feel like a comedy. There weren't really too many comedic bits. Like there was some dialogue here and there that was like, I guess, meant to be like jokes, like the whole Force thing at the beginning where Doug's like, oh, it's like the Force from Star Wars, but nothing really like it didn't feel like funny, but it also didn't feel like it was supposed to be funny. So in terms of comedy, I'm just gonna say like 5, because it wasn't good, but it wasn't like terrible. There was nothing that was like they said that was like, oh, that was awful, this joke that they came up with. So yeah. In terms of a biopic in general, I will give it I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. I thought it was very good. Once again, just the source material. When I think of like all the biopics I've seen, if you would pitch me all the biopics I've seen, like War Dogs, Wolf of Wall Street, Oppenheimer, The Big Short. I'm trying to think of other ones besides the one I already said. Goodfellas, Moneyball. Like when you, I guess. Yeah, I would say like maybe Moneyball has like a slightly less interesting premise, but this one, like compared to like the nuclear bomb's creation or like Gangsters or I don't know, the financial crash in the stock market, like this one just in it for me personally, it just didn't. It was the source material wasn't like, it was definitely interesting. It's just comparing it to like other biopic. This is a weird genre to like really rate biopics, because like how do you rate a biopic? In terms of rating biopics, I'm kind of just going off of like how interesting it was as like a premise for a biopic. So as a biopic, I think it worked well. It was very good, but into like there was better biopics I've seen, so that's why I'm just giving it a 7.5. In terms of the worst thing, the only thing I would really say is the worst, and I don't really know if this is even necessarily a bad thing, but there are moments, and this is like also in The Wolf of Wall Street and stuff, but there are. And most of these biopics, to be fair, but because most of the premises for these biopics are like these group of people, or this, like a lot of these biopics are just these group of people, they figure out how to do something that like no one in the world knew how to do or something like that. So with that comes inherent like confusion. Like they do explain a lot of stuff that ultimately you kind of struggle to follow along sometimes. So there are moments in this where I'm like, okay, you're explaining this stuff about like data services and stuff, and I'm not an expert on this, so it's like I'm kind of following along, but at the same time I don't really understand what you're saying. Or like when they come up with solutions, like, okay, we figured out how to do this, it's like, oh, it's cool that you figured out how to do this, I don't really understand how though. So it's like that bit of confusion there. So in terms of like the clarity, I would say I would give the clarity of the movie I guess a 5.5. It was decent. Like, just again, there was moments that I just didn't understand really what was happening. So yeah, finally the best part I would say is I would probably just say the best thing about this was again, I'm like struggling to, I don't know why I have these best and worst categories. Just because it's like difficult to like really pin down a worst thing sometimes and the best thing sometimes. Like there's a lot to like about this. So in terms of the best thing, I'm just gonna say like, I guess just the how it played out, like the story, the plot, the characters, and all that. Like a lot of it is very good, and so I wouldn't say that there's a best thing per se. So I'm just gonna here, if there isn't a best thing per se, I'm probably just gonna like take what the highest score is and just repeat it. I think I might have said that in a previous video. So the drama is the highest score here. It was an 8.5, so I'm just gonna rate that again an 8.5. And because the drama was very good in this movie. It was very entertaining to watch, and it was ultimately, I guess, the best part of the movie. Maybe not the best part, but it was one of the best parts of the movie, so I'm just gonna put that there for the best part. And so I am going to do the calculations now, so King Crimson. Alright, so it rounds up to, when you do the calculations, you end up getting about a 7 out of 10, but I would rate it much higher. I would probably give it about an 8 out of 10. I would say the movie was great. It was very, very good. It was just wonderful performances, especially from like Glenn Howerton. The plot was interesting. There was good drama, just all the stuff I mentioned in this review. So 8 out of 10. It was a great movie. And if you have any recommendations for any movies, anime, shows, video game stories, anything like that, leave it in the comments and I will maybe check it out. But yeah, with that said, that is pretty much all there is to it. So let's leave it at that.